What is up, Scrub fam? I'm back. We're a week out from the results of Indy. Actually, just a couple days, whatever. But dust has settled. We just had another regional. Format has not changed. Not changed at all. But there's some changes to the format that are interesting that we'll talk about, of course. But first off, before we get the video started, shout out to my sponsor, Bearded Collectibles, beardedcollectibles.com. Get your Team Bearded apparel. Pick up your 3XG Scrub Fam shirt version 1.0. Working on more coming down the pipe whenever I get time to do so. But please, if you haven't gotten your expansion packs yet, make sure you go ahead and get them through Bearded Collectibles, especially if you don't have a local shop or a Target nearby that's carrying it. Also, in addition to that, you have the ability to start pre-ordering your Set 3 product, and Bearded Collectibles always has some of the best prices when it comes to buying sealed products. So please, save yourself some money, buy from the Beard, but otherwise, support your local shop. And of course, we have the new Set 3 previews, which of course I'll be doing videos about those soon. There's a ton of stuff going on within the different colors and the cool effects, and a lot of unique things are coming from this set, so I'm really excited about that. And as you guys know, usually when a new set drops, I go instantly back into brew mode and then just start brewing a million decks for you guys, so you guys can start to see how I piece together the different tools that we get from a set and how the format moves forward with those tools that we get are given access to by the game designers themselves. And so this set looks extremely hype. There's so much power in the set. I'm excited to see where we go, especially when it comes to this being focused around Overrealm and different evolve types. So this set's going to be huge. So anyway, post Indy, what do we do now? And we're all, if you're going to North Carolina Regional, I'll be there. I didn't go to Indy. I chose not to go to that one, but I'll be in North Carolina as well, trying to accrue my first Top Cut appearance, which I have a really good feeling about North Carolina. Just because from a standpoint of where I stand, where my own play skill, along with my ability to read formats, is getting better and better with this game. And so that's something I'm becoming more accustomed to. So with North Carolina coming up, we have to look at the way the world is now. And what is this format that we have? And right now we're starting to see a funnel to the top of what consistently is going to be placing you. And that's going to be, a blue-green starter Goku deck, which is just very consistent. It's just a true mid-range deck. It just plays good stuff. And it gets to break the game in a way that a lot of other games don't have access to, and that's reusing your energy, reusing your mana on a turn. So it's incredibly powerful. You have Super Saiyan Vegeta. This deck is Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. This deck is strictly based around high-powered leader attacks, trying to close the window on the game within the first four turns of the game, and you don't ever really want the game to go long. You want to be able to kill your opponent because you constantly have to use your life as a resource to deny your opponent cards, and so that deck really strong, and it was really strong in the previous format before this, where it was heavily influenced by Mecha Frieza in those decks, because since it's not playing a lot of creatures, they don't really care about Bloodlust or anything like that. And since Mecha Frieza is a deck that needs to chew on its life in order to awaken, Vegeta could counter that portion of the format relatively easily. And then of course we have androids, and androids are still showed to be, they're going to get you to day 2. Like I said in my last video, I think that androids will get you to day 2. I don't think they'll win you the event. The deck's just, it's good, but I don't think the deck's good enough. I don't think it's good enough to overcome, a field of blue-green starter Goku over the course of a day. I do think it has a great Vegeta matchup, but I do think it's not favored against Mecha Frieza either, because Mecha Frieza, of course, has access to Cold Bloodlust, and then, after Game 1, post-sideboard, the Mecha Frieza deck just gets way better in those sets of games. So we still kind of have this solid metagame over the past couple of regionals that stayed true. So let's go ahead and go over some of the things. So, the road so far, after all the regionals that we had it right now, we look at 2 blue-green Goku decks have won, 1 blue-green Vegeta has won, 1 tricolor Mecha Frieza, 1 blue-green Cell. So we've had 5 regionals. These are the results so far. The past 3 regionals have been Vegeta, Goku, Goku. So we're starting to see the trend here, where at Las Vegas, Goku was already great, but kind of had his coming out party with 2 placing in the top 4, and then now the field is starting to switch over to that deck itself because of how well positioned it is, especially against stuff like Android, Cell, as well as being great against Mecha Frieza, and then you're really only having to make a game plan against Vegeta, and that's it. So you can just build your sideboard around that matchup itself. And so if we go from the road so far to the by the numbers, so 18% of top cut was taken up by 3 different spots. So you had 3 blue-green Goku, 3 blue-red Vegeta, 3 tricolor Mecha Frieza, the blue-green-yellow variant, and of course, that's probably going to be the most consistent variant of Mecha Frieza that it does well, mostly because of the access to turn 4 removal in Kale and Gohan. Kale is one of the best cards in the game, and that's really what you like. Blue, green, yellow Mecha Frieza tries to focus on is just getting to its 4th energy as fast as possible to start deploying Kales. Because once that happens, you just protect your Kale, and then you just generate a ton of advantage because you just have a 20k crit attacker that your opponent has to spin cards to defend, as well as if they take damage, they're not drawing that card. 2 red green androids, again, here they're always going to be in top cuts, it seems like. 1 blue green Vegeta, 1 blue Vegeta, 1 blue yellow golden Frieza, 1 blue red Trunks heroic. I call it heroic because it's a leader based deck, and then 1 blue red Cell. And so with our top four for the event was the blue yellow golden Frieza by Peter Katani, the blue red Trunks deck by Aaron, the blue red Vegeta deck by Anthony Hernandez. Shout out, man. Congrats, man. Amazing job. You also went to the finals. Good work. And then we had Chris Abella, whatever, however he wants to pronounce it, Blue Green Goku. He ended up being the winner of the tournament itself. So that was our top 4. And so when we look at the format now and we look at the rules of engagement haven't really changed. I mean, they have drastically from set 1 to set 2, but the rules of engagement now are essentially what can you do on your turns? How many things can you do when you get to the most impactful turns of the game? And the reason why you keep seeing Soul Striker win events or Soul Striker plays really well, put a lot of decks in the day 2, is because it's the deck that can do the most past turn 4, past turn 5. And so when your format is revolving around who can do more things on those turns, it becomes fairly simple. Like I said, you're playing starter deck Goku, you really just need to stay alive against Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. That's what I said in my last video, and just get yourself to your 5th turn. Once you're there, if you've survived long enough, you're going to be able to win that game as long as you can make sure you're awakened, which is why, of course, you play Results of Training 3 to 4 copies, and you're just going to mulligan for it. And so that's why Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, I think the deck is incredibly consistent. Look how many copies it made it, that leader made 3, 4, 5, different decks and different players in the top 16 the following day. That's incredible. And even more were in top 32. So I still think that it's one of the best decks in the game, but I just think that as long as there's a deck out there that doesn't have a straight up weakness to it, like it's weak to it, but it's not, huge, but that deck also can handle a large majority of the format, then, Vegeta is just never going to fully be the best deck in the game again. So if we take a look at our top 4, you see a Goku, a Vegeta, a Golden Frieza, and a Trunks. So Trunks, of course, is our outlier. But Trunks also falls into that category with Vegeta of trying to close the game before your opponent reaches a certain amount of energy. And Trunks can do that by putting pressure on a leader, awakening them, and still forcing that opponent to spend cards while they're trying to defend themselves, and just getting really big, and then just using a lot of the value-based things. Stuff like Unyielding Spirit Trunks, Sensu Beans, Further Instruction Champas, just stuff to keep on tapping and putting pressure on your opponent itself. And then, of course, we have the Blue, Yellow, Golden Frieza, which is, it's not really an outlier. We had one come in 2nd place in Las Vegas, and now you had one come in top 4 here at this event. And the reason why is because it does the same thing that Blue-Green started at Goku does. But it's different in the fact that you have to rely on an engine to be able to accomplish it, which, again, it can be a drawback. So, and I definitely understand the drawback itself, but it focuses on the same premise of reusing energy multiple times in a single turn. And so when you look at leaders that you want to start thinking about playing going forward, you want to focus on somebody that can do a deck that can do something really fast. So really fast, really powerful. So we're talking 7-drop Cell on turn 3. We're talking Bobbity Black, getting Bobbity down on turn 4 as soon as possible. You're talking about Mecha Frieza, which, get Kale down on turn 2 if possible by playing multiple objections on your first turn and going from there. And then, of course, we have the other decks, which are get past turn 5 and win by getting past turn 5, which is started at Goku, which those decks can usually go off more consistently because they're not relying on drawing a certain set of cards to make it happen. Just the majority of the deck is just all gas, and that's why it's just a true mid-range deck. It just plays great stuff across the board. And so Blue Yellow Golden Frieza just fits that mold, where again it just gets later and later and later. The more I can do with my energy on my turns, the better I'm going to be, and it has great synergy with Overwhelm as well because the leader itself can sack its own things for an advantage. And a lot of people just don't think of Golden Frieza's engine the way they should. Golden Frieza turns all of your Frieza army cards into cantrips that untap energy. That's insane. So you play Ginyu Force Goldo. The value on Ginyu Force Goldo is incredible, especially in the early game. Your opponent plays a Boo. They draw a card. Your turn. Okay. You draw, charge, play a Goldo, tap their Boo, swing at their Boo, sack your Goldo, untap a yellow, draw a card. Like, you've done so much. You've picked up so much tempo that turn, and you didn't have to interact with your opponent's leader at all. And by taking away those combo pieces early, you don't have to worry about your opponent using them later in the game or them coming back to bite you by leaving them there. So the value on Boo is just, slightly diminished. So Golden Frieza, like I said, as the game goes longer, is going to be able to have access to more resources than you. And so that's how the game changed from set 1 to set 2. Set 1 was really about how many cards do I have in my hand. That was set 1. That's what we learned. That was resource number 1. Whereas set 2, they've really emphasized cards in hand, battle cards on the table, and energy open. So the game has changed drastically because, if we were playing in set 1 and I was playing Vegeta, I didn't care. My hand was large enough. I mean, it didn't really matter. Of course, I needed to have energy on the table to be able to play threats, but cards in hand was the most important thing in set 1, and just making sure you stayed ahead on cards was the most important thing, whereas in set 2, it's a different format now. And so now we need to start playing leaders that are either doing something incredibly powerful fast, or we're playing a leader that can take advantage of the mid and the late game by having access to extra energy. So that's how the format kind of shapes up going forward. Next, we look at just our top 16 breakdown. If you just want to look at all the different decks, what I did was I listed them all so you could just see how many copies of the black cards they were playing in their main decks. And lo and behold, arguably the best card in the entire game now, Time Patrol Trunks. There was 44 copies of the card in the top 16 main decks. There were some that were also sideboarded, but I didn't count the sideboards. I just didn't feel like it because that was just a lot of work. But 44 copies of these cards in the top 16. That shows you how powerful this card is. Again, it's the first card that they introduced that added deck manipulation to the game. And when I say deck manipulation, it's the ability to scry and fix your draw. And having that is just incredible, especially in a game where you have so many cards that give you the option to play and shuffle your deck. Like, you don't have to play something to shuffle your deck, and so you can get to a state where you look at the top 2, draw 1, and then put 1 on the top or bottom, and then so you can fix your draw for the next turn. So if you're starter deck Goku, you're not drawing the extra results. If you're if you're Cell, you're not drawing the extra TN, or if you are drawing the extra TN, you're just putting it under your backside of your leader to draw 2 cards. So you're just fixing your draws even more so. The scry is just absolutely insane in this game. So Time Patrol Trunks moving forward, that's going to be important. So as we go into North Carolina, we're doing it. We're going to North Carolina. What are we doing in North Carolina? Well, we're looking at our options right now. And if you can't beat them, so if you can't beat starter deck Goku, you just join them. I think you play starter deck Goku, but I think you have to change your approach. I think blue-green's good, but I think you need to find a way to go over the top of blue-green, and I think you need to find a way to be able to establish a larger board presence that they can't deal with, especially with their removal, because their game plan, again, is to stick threats multiple per turn and play removal additionally to make sure that your board stays minimal, and that's how they gain their advantage. If you want to beat them, I think cards that need to see more play in this format right now, I think Crusher Ball needs to see more play. I don't think it sees enough, and I think that people truly need to try and push Overwhelm. Like Mass Saiyan made an appearance. He was in a lot of different decks, but honestly, in a lot of decks I'm testing, the ratio is 4 Time Patrol Trunks, 2 Mass Saiyans, and it's felt amazing. And I found ways to cast all of them because it's something that I focus on during a game because I want to be able to gain those extra edges. So we need to be able to play multiple threats per turn to match Super Saiyan Goku, Soul Striker. So if you're Cell leader, you need to be able to play multiple spells per turn and have multiple kill spells. So that's why he's great, is because he has his backside, which can kill anything. You can play a removal spell, and if you have a Mass Saiyan, you play a Mass Saiyan. So you have the ability to kill up to 3 things in one turn. And so if you want to be able to fight against Super Saiyan God Son Goku, the Soul Striker, you have to make sure that you can have enough removal to take care of their board. Because once they have 1, 2, 3 threats down, the game's just going to spiral out of control, and it doesn't matter how many cards you have in your hand at that point. You're now on the ropes, you're now having to defend yourself, and now you've lost all control of the game, and that's how Soul Striker wins. So going forward, we need to look at doing a few things. We need to either play a leader that does something incredibly busted fast, that can create a game state that somebody can't beat, or we need to play the same game as Goku, but play it in a way that harms them. So Golden Frieza with Crusher Ball and Bloodlust, I'd play 4 Crusher Ball, 3 Bloodlust at this point, and I would side the 4th Bloodlust. And then I would go heavy on removal, and of course, go heavy on Overwhelm. I would, like I said, 4 times patrol, 2 Mass Saiyan, fix my draws, get my discard pile full, have the additional removal, and so now you're matching their tempo, and you're able to overwhelm them later in the game, because you're going to have, if you run negates, you have them, but if the Crusher Balls in general are just slowing them down so much, because that's an attack they're not going to get. That's something they're not going to be able to get a advantage off of. So I think me personally going forward, the decks that I'm looking at are, of course, Soul Striker. It's top of the list. It has to be. Golden Frieza, Cell. Those are the 3 leaders I'm looking at right now, and I'm starting to think about going to any other leader that can provide additional energy on a turn. So that's what we're doing right now. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. I know this video is relatively long, trying to make it quick, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know that I enjoy talking about the game itself. And if you guys have any feedback, hated this video, put it down in the comments. If you want to talk more with me while my dog is drinking water right now, you can reach me on Facebook. My name is Matthew Combs. Some people call me Coombs, but that's incorrect. But last name is Combs. Sorry, Marcel. Okay, bye!